Most of us have a favorite cocaine story. So this one is mine. Actually, some deans from Evergreen State came and interviewed me last month. And as one of the pioneers there, one of the first students, they said, it must have been so exciting back then to be a young person taking a chance on Evergreen, an alternative school like that. And they said, oh, fuck that shit. We knew it'd be a drug emporium. That's why we all showed up. And I said it was. You could get anything you wanted in that place within the hour. And I said, even cocaine, which, again, back in 1972 was very unusual. The whole coke thing came later in the 70s and primarily in the 80s. But there was a guy that I nicknamed Gollum. And he never read The Lord of the Rings because he thought it was some kind of compliment. And he had an incredible source for cocaine, and he had bags of it. And he sold some at Evergreen, but everybody I know is dead drunk. Dead broke and dead drunk. And we couldn't afford cocaine. He sold a lot of it in town. But here was the thing. If you would go to the house that he and his wife rented and played Monopoly with them, you could, there's all this coke you could snort there. And, only 4 or 5 people, whatever it is, could play Monopoly at a time. So he'd be playing Monopoly in the kitchen, and there'd be, at any time, like 15 to 20 guys from Evergreen would be there taking advantage of the coke. Because this was a totally new thing, snorting this powder for us. And so, like the rest of these losers, I would go over there to do it. And I kind of, hated myself for it. We were called the bullpen. You'd sit in the living room, ostensibly waiting to play Monopoly with Gollum. Oh, God. And, that was the first time. The thing I always remember is you'd have, a dozen guys sitting around with that washing machine jaw that you get on coke and, talking, and all you wanted to do was hide. So, of course, it was constipating, and I'd been there a few nights in a row. So somebody was in the guest bathroom, so I went into the one in the bedroom, and I sit down on the shitter, and, it's one of these places, I can't believe people who don't have stuff to read in their bathroom.